strap in because I have a lot to say. I'm feeling very sassy. In my town, there is a little house on the corner that just went up for sale. Very cute, looks like it was built in the 1930s, white with blue trim. At least it was. Now it looks like this. Here it is. Why? Why would you do it? Why? Oh my God, like not another one. One by one, every house in my neighborhood seems to be falling to this sad color scheme. It's like the plot of a Rainbow Bright movie. If you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Magdalen Rose. I make videos for the internet, but did you also know that I happen to be an artist? And that's all the credentials I'm going to give. This sucks. It's hideous, and I truly have no idea what possessed the owners to paint this lovely house this painfully drab color. But Magdalen, that's like just your opinion, man. No, it's not. It's objectively bad. Like, it is my opinion, but it also happens to coincide with the unshakable truth that this is one of the worst design trends of the last 50 years. That's right, 50 years. I am including shag carpet, Tuscan kitchens, and like inflatable furniture. The reason I hate gray houses so much is not because I have some vendetta against the color gray. I do, but like it's different because it isn't just one gray house or a couple gray houses. It's spreading everywhere. This sad sack ashy menace. I'm so fired up. And I can hear you typing, Maggie, everyone has their own style and they can paint their houses whatever color they want. This is America. I can guarantee that once I am finished explaining this phenomena, you are going to be as mad as I am. Smash that like button and subscribe for more monochromatic housing roasts or whatever. Part 1, context. Gray is not a bad color. There are no bad colors. There's only poorly chosen colors. A gray kitten, for example, is just as adorable as any other color kitten, and the fact that it is gray does not diminish its adorableness in any way. The same cannot be said of houses. In art, gray can be a good neutral that allows other colors around it to seem more striking and vibrant. And somehow, this is the argument people give me when they're defending gray houses. Would you like to come up to the board and show me what is being made more striking and vibrant? I wouldn't either because it's bullshit. Part 2, color associations. Different colors evoke different feelings in the viewer, and those feelings have long been mapped by marketers and graphic designers around the world. Red gives a sense of passion and energy. Yellow gives a sense of happiness and positivity. And green is often associated with upward growth, money, and fertility. Gray also has associations like boredom, indifference, and sadness. Gray also has some positive qualities, just none that would relate even remotely to a house, like professionalism, wisdom, and fastidiousness. So maybe if these were like law offices or a dentist or a jail, but not your home. It's your home. Part 3, levels of sad. My level of disgust depends on the type of gray we're talking about. The lightest gray is by far the most acceptable. The argument people tell you is that gray is there to create a sort of blank canvas so that the home buyers can project their own ideas onto the house. You don't want somebody else's vision getting in the way, leading to them to potentially decide that the house is not for them. And this is possible. Like, I think this is a great example, but I feel like these people have never shopped for canvas before. Wow, that's the lightest gray I've ever seen. The darkest gray, like charcoal, isn't even the worst. It's just weird. Like, it looks bad and it's probably going to be really hot in the summer. I don't really see the appeal unless you're going for like an Addams Family vibe, in which case at least have the decency to put out some gargoyles or one of those 20-foot skeletons in your front yard. Like, you have to commit to the look. Otherwise, it just looks like you let your teen son pick out the color after seeing Fight Club for the first time. Not to mention, I can't even imagine trying to paint over this. Like, what about in 5 years, maybe you want it pastel blue? That's a lot of trips to Home Depot. It's really the middle gray that's the worst offender for me. Like, it's not light enough to give that blank canvas effect, but it's not dark enough to like be a fun goth moment. It's just drab and cold. Like, people hate on beige, but beige is at least warm. Like, it can be dressed up to be cozy and inviting. I'm personally indifferent to beige, which is the way you're supposed to be about beige. It's just a nothing color. It's beige. I guess I should take a moment to point out that I live in the Pacific Northwest, making this phenomenon Even more baffling because it rains 7 months out of the year. By March, most of us are half insane from lack of sunlight, scavenging for what little serotonin we can muster from caffeine and video compilations of dogs. It's in this place where seasonal depression is all but inevitable that you decide to subject us to a house that looks like the before in a Zoloft commercial. Why? Part 4, shitification of everything. So you may have noticed gray creeping into your neighborhoods as well, and it's not just residences either. Where Starbucks used to look like this, now it looks like this. McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Burger King, all these brands that used to have these really iconic exteriors are replacing them with these drab corporate boxes. The reason for this is that it's a lot easier to move in and out of a building and just replace the signage than to build a recognizable brand exterior. It's efficient and it saves money. For them, not for you. They're not going to lower their prices because they saved money. Don't be silly. So now we have a combination of sad gray houses and sad gray shopping centers. Do we feel elegant yet? Part 5, neutral. This idea crops up all the time, is that gray is neutral. It's good. It's very neutral. As if good and neutral aren't two totally different alignments. Any D&D nerd could have told you that, Bradley. The point of the gray is to strip the house of anything that could be potentially offensive to a future buyer. Incidentally, gray also happens to hide flaws and dirt better than white, presumably because gray is the color of dirt. Maybe you're selling now, maybe you're hoping to sell in the future. But the idea is to maximize the opportunities for the house to sell. It's just so soulless and corporate-minded that this property isn't a home for you and your family. It's just an asset. It's just a resource to be bought and sold as needed. The result of this is that many of the houses in my neighborhood that were once various colors are now gray. Gray houses, gray office buildings, and a sad gray Starbucks. It's like they're actively trying to build a dystopia, or at least make it look like one. Part of the issue is the tone of the gray. People are choosing a gray that's either incredibly cold or has just enough warmth to look like mildew. That gray has its own name. It's called greige, and it's the bane of my existence. Again, not because it's a bad color in and of itself, but because it's just used way too much and in the wrong places, like on a house. Greige is attempting to be the gray version of beige, which is to say lower saturation and more sad, which is hard to do. Mina Lee already made a video on the greige agenda, and it's a great video. You should check it out. The difference between greige and beige is the amount of yellow it has in it. And I don't know if people have just been traumatized by boomers smoking indoors or something, but you should not be afraid of yellow. Yellow is a positive color. It's a color that reflects light and can be really beautiful if used right. It can make a house feel big and friendly and open like a golden retriever. Part 6, I think. Going back to context, the style of the house really matters. Like if you want to paint a house a really dark gray, I can see you doing that with one of these like historic American Gothic houses someplace. Maybe you just want it to look menacing. Maybe you're turning it into a haunted house. But when you paint a house like this, the color of like Mordor, it completely clashes with the quaint curves and the general size of the house. It makes the aesthetic of the house just completely clash. Like that gritty reboot they tried to do of Winnie the Pooh, and if you didn't see it, it's not good. So I don't think this was done on purpose. I don't think influential home improvement brands were like waking up one day and they're like, hey, let's recreate the Soviet Union. I think it came from a place of, well, we need a new trend. We already did beige in the 90s, so let's do something else, I guess. Whenever someone says gray is good, it's neutral, all I hear is, it's got what plants crave, it's got electrolytes. That's not how this works. And I'm not saying you can't paint your house gray, like you're not allowed. I'm very against HOAs having the power to tell people what colors they can and cannot paint their house. Like my favorite color is pink, but I wouldn't want every house in the neighborhood to be pink. I might want to see it once, but like not forever. The variety of colors in a neighborhood isn't just aesthetically pleasing, it's also functional. Like, hey, come to my house. It's the gray one across the street from that gray one. No, next to the other gray one. This one's that one across from 2 gray houses down. But my house is gray and I like it. Well, good. It's good that you like your ugly house. It's still ugly and you should paint it. Scream your protests into the comment section if you must, but this is not an argument. This is a declarative statement. There are too many gray houses. It looks like garbage and I hate it. Thank you for watching my video about gray houses. I have a Patreon that helps me continue to make videos. I hope you have a bright and colorful day. Bye.